When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonianish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them, and took them, and, behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. And I'll repeat that. When I saw among the spoils a goodly Babylonianish garment, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold of 50 shekels weight, then I coveted them, and took them, and behold, they are hid in the earth in the midst of my tent, and the silver under it. God specifically told Joshua to tell his people that they was to take no spoils of this specific war that they had did, where they went and killed and wiped out all these people, that they was to take nothing. They was to leave it all. See, most of the times he would allow them to take certain things, spoils of the war. But see, this one was specific because of the people. Because of the people they went and slaughtered. There was the Babylonians, idol worshippers. It was all tainted. None of it needed to come back into their homes, bring it back to their camp, because this was a godly camp, and they was about getting ready to enter into the promised land. And he didn't want nothing of evil, nothing tainted, nothing that was sacrificed to other gods, nothing that was used to worship other gods, nothing that was worn by the evilness, so that it could enter into the promised land. This is a foreshadowing, a reflection of what is to come when God calls his people. We are to be free of sin. We need to, when he calls us and we get married, we're going to bring the garment of righteousness. There's going to be nothing of this world taken with us. That's why God says, do not focus, do not care of things of this world, because it's not going with you. In fact, we're not even going to have our bodies that was used on this earth. God is not even going to allow us to have the same bodies that we had on this earth, for nothing that was unholy is going to enter into the holy place. Nothing is going to taint. He's not going to allow people who even just want to sin a little bit. We're supposed to be holy. We're supposed to be righteous because God called us to. And see, a lot of people got it twisted, thinking like, oh, God knows that we're sinners because we live in the sinning bodies, and he knows that we're going to have some sin, because there's no way that we can be without sin when he comes. And that's just false. That's just lies from the devil. See, as you come on your Christ walk with Christ, the Holy Spirit in you convicts you. It keeps you from living in sin. It keeps you from doing things that you know that is wrong. So after you come closer and keep on walking with God, yes, you're going to be able to live a life where you sin no more. If it was impossible, then Christ himself would have not have told people when he healed them, go and sin no more. He knows that we have been sinners. He knows that we have committed sin. He knows that we have lived in sin. But when we come to Christ, we are to sin no more. There's no if, ands, or buts. He said, no more. Now he knows that we are going to be tempted, that the devil is going to constantly be after us and to seek us and try to destroy us. So yes, we're going to stumble. It says so, that the righteous man will stumble. But that's also God's way of chipping away at us and correcting us so that we can overcome the temptation. So we can learn, okay, you know what? I messed up. And man, that just ate me up. And I can't stand. So it's not just like, okay, I'm sorry. God's going to forgive me because I sinned, so it's okay. No, that Holy Spirit is going to make you just feel horrible for committing that sin so that you won't what? Do it no more. And we're going to, if he has to do that for every single sin that you do, it's okay. It's okay to stumble. You're going to get right back up and you're going to learn not to do that again. He knows that it's going to take a little bit of time as we're coming in our walk, especially if we just now called us back to him. But once we do, we already know the rules. Once we have this close relationship and walk with God, we know what's right and what's wrong. We know what we should be doing and not doing. So therefore, we're going to purposely not do those things. Not because it's going to be hard to do. It's going to be because we love God so much and we're so grateful and thankful for his grace and his mercy and his sacrifice that we literally don't want to. We don't even think about it. The thought never even crosses our mind. So we can then live our lives with sinning no more. It is possible. So there's too many people out there teaching, I'm a sinner saved by grace. God saved me, I'm good. Once saved, always saved. And it's keeping people in this mindset that, okay, I'm a sinner and I'm going to sin because I can't help it because I'm a sinner. So I'm going to sin. It's going to be okay. God's going to accept me. So it's making them think that it's okay. It's teaching people that it's okay to sin, to almost live in sin, even if you're a Christian, and that is wrong. It's false doctrine. For God says not to sin no more. He says to be holy and righteous. How can you be holy and righteous and constantly be living in sin? There's a difference between a mess up and a slip up than a person who's constantly thinking it's okay to continue living in this world and think that they're a Christian. Because it is so, the scriptures tell you, do not be of the things of this world. Do not live in this world, for you are not of this world. That the things of this world will perish. So if you got 1 foot living in this world, hanging in there, that 1 foot is going to drag you out. And you will perish with this world. There's no way that you can be in the middle. There is no middle. You're either in the light or you're in the dark. Having that 1 foot in the dark has got you in the dark. You guys not going to come and say, well, you know what? She's got 1 foot. They're not going to care about the 1 foot on this path and 1 foot on there. The fact that part of you, just a little bit of you, is in this world would not be allowed to enter. When this man right here confessed what he had stolen and took and buried, they took him and his whole family, and killed them all. Right there in front of everybody. They put him in the pit and they all stoned him to death. Because he had disobeyed God. And thought that he could live and be part and have things of this world in him. With him. And that's not what God spoke to Joshua about. And Joshua told him, he said, this is what God said. Nothing unholy is entering into God's new kingdom. Not one bit of it. Not even 1%. He's not going to have his new kingdom contaminated, corrupted with even one tiny little lie, one tiny little sin, one little tiny things of this world. He will not have a repeat